Hi everybody, I'm Lynne Huysamen, and I'm here to talk about drug addiction and the effect that it has on the family. If anybody that doesn't know, I am a drug addict. I am 7 years clean from alcohol and drugs. So I do have a little bit of experience, practical experience on this topic. For anybody that likes this video, please press like, press share, subscribe to my channel. You can also visit my website. The link is down below. So, the effects that drug addiction has on the family. It's got, well, a terrible effect, as I'm sure you can guess. From the simple things like the worry of where's your child, where's your husband, your wife, your mom, what are they doing? Knowing that they're on drugs, the worry that they could kill themselves with an overdose. There's all of that, that's the obvious. Then there's the risk of abuse, um, physical abuse, mental abuse, emotional abuse, verbal abuse, for sure. In fact, it's more likely there's going to be some form of abuse than not if there's drug addiction going on. And I'm also referring to alcoholism here. I just use addiction as a sort of broad term. I kind of bundle them all together. And then also very sadly, child abuse. If you're a mother and you've got children and you're an addict, um, there's going to be some sort of neglect, definitely. There's, yeah, it's very sad, but it's going to happen. So that's the kind of obvious stuff. And then there's danger. If you're an addict, you're going to bring drug dealers to the house, possibly prostitutes. If you're an addict, maybe you are the prostitute, and if you're a female living in your mother's house and you've got strange men coming around that you're servicing, it's not a very safe sort of place for your family. Um, then there's also the effect that quite frankly, the family becomes unhealthy. The addict will play one family member off against the other. This is very, very common. It's a form of manipulation to get what they want, to get out of the damages, the chaos that they've caused. They're going to pin blame all over the place. And drug addicts are just plain threatening. So, yeah, the effect on the family is quite severe. And I think people don't realize quite how hard it is. So the next thing I want to talk about is what can the family do to keep themselves safe, to keep themselves healthy, and to heal, and of course to provide help for the addict as well, because that's ultimately what everybody wants. If your child is a drug addict, you want to help. I'm very vocal in my local community, and I share a lot, and I post on Facebook groups, and of course I blog. And I'm ultimately trying to reach the addict because that's the person that I want to get to. It's sad how many moms phone me and they're at their wits' end. They don't know what to do. I am grateful though that I can still possibly help the addict through helping their family and advising. Um, but it's sad. I'm a mom. I've got two children, and I don't know what I'd like. I worry about them. They're only 2 and 4, but I worry. So I can just imagine when they're adults and if they become addicts, what I'll go through. I don't want to think about that. So the first step is if you've got a loved one that is a drug addict, then you need to get help and support for yourself. It's simple. You can't help anybody unless you can help yourself. Um, you need to heal. You need support. All the effects that I've spoken about, you need to heal. You need help. So my suggestion is that you find a 12-step group to join. If you are, I mean, everyone's heard of Alcoholics Anonymous and Narcotics Anonymous. But there's also there's sister groups for each of these groups. So for Alcoholics Anonymous, that's for the alcoholic. They've got an Al-Anon group, and that is for the loved ones of the alcoholic. Narcotics Anonymous, they've got Nar-Anon, and that is for the family of the drug addict. There's also CODA, which is a group for codependents. And like I mentioned before, if you are a family of a drug addict, chances are you are probably kind of exhibiting unhealthy behaviors now. So, for example, your son comes and he says he's crashed his car again. Could you please have some money to fix it? And he needs money for a taxi, and he needs money for this, blah, blah, blah. And you give him money. Okay, so that's an unhealthy behavior. That's enabling the addict. That's keeping them sick. And it's quite simple. If you've got a son that's a drug addict and he's crashed his car, chances are he was plastered when he did it. He was flying high as a kite and he wrecked his car. Now you're helping him out. You are saving him. This is not a good way to deal with the problem. So yeah, go to Coda and they will help you with the way that you behave, and you can change that and keep yourself safe. So the second thing you need to do is learn about addiction, and this is very important. A lot of people, a lot of the parents I speak to, they don't want to go to a meeting. They don't want to go and get help. I just need to backtrack there about support. I suggest you get a counselor as well. Contact an addictions counselor, and I'll get back to that again further on. And then the other thing is church. A lot of the churches have got support groups and addiction sort of support. I don't suggest you use that only, because I think you should get specialized support for addiction as well. But that's another form of support that you can also add in. There's no such thing as too much support, right? And then back to learning about addiction. If your child has diabetes, you're going to learn how to manage that, right? If your child gets cancer, HIV, epilepsy, all of these things, you are going to really go out there and learn about the problem, aren't you? How to manage it, how to deal with it, how to cope. You will probably also go to a support group. Get counseling, maybe if it's HIV or something really, really serious that you need help with. So look at addiction in the same way. And the thing with addiction is it's not straightforward. It's a thing, what do they say? It's cunning, baffling, powerful. And it is. And a lot of the ways you think you're helping, you are actually making the situation worse. And you're keeping your child sick or your loved one sick. So learn about it. Find out. And I think also what this will do is it'll maybe give you a bit of empathy as well. The drug addict is not a bad person. The drug addict is trapped. They can't get out. They're floundering. I can tell you, I used for 15 years. It is a living hell. It's not a place you want to be, but you can't get out. You don't know how to. And you just dig yourself deeper and deeper and deeper in. So get a bit of empathy and learn about it. I'm not saying have a pity party for the addict. That's not going to help anybody. But understand what's going on for this person. And you'll be better able to help them. And then, when you learn about addiction, you've got to learn about tough love. And this is what I said before about the car. You think you're helping your son by paying for his car when he's crashed it. You're not. Tough love. No, we're not getting any money. Because the thing is, an addict gets money, they're going to use it. So they're probably not even going to fix his car. He's going to stuff that money up his nose. So this doesn't help. And also, the addict has to face the consequences of what they've done. An addict is, they talk about rock bottom. And where is rock bottom? People think it's when you've gone down so far, you can't go down anymore. Well, I'll tell you what my version of rock bottom is. If you're not dead, you haven't hit rock bottom. You can always dig further. If you're not dead, you can dig down a little more. And it was quite amazing when I was an addict. I woke up every day thinking, well, it can't get any worse than this. You know what it does? It can always get worse. Until you get recovery, until you get clean, it can always get worse. And it's as simple as that. So, you need to actually help the drug addict reach this rock bottom of theirs. Each person's rock bottom is different. So it's when you decide that that's enough. That's your rock bottom. And you can hit your rock bottom and get into recovery and relapse and hit another lower rock bottom. It's about letting the addict deal with their own consequences of their actions. And it's very important that you do this. If you don't do this, you are actually keeping them sick and you're not doing them any favors. So what might seem like a horrible thing to do might actually save their life. And it's as simple as that. It's a life and death problem, addiction. So the third thing I advise you do, and I suggest you do this in conjunction with a counselor or a specialist in addiction. I suggest that you stage an intervention. And this has got to be carefully planned and carried out with a professional. And the reason, what an intervention basically is where you get everybody that is involved in an addict's life, everyone that loves this person and really wants to help. You all get together with a counselor and you plan and carry out an intervention. And what this basically is the intervention is where a group of people that are important in the addict's life, sit the addict down and basically have a showdown. It's supposed to be where the addict cannot wiggle out, cannot deny anything, cannot pin blame on somebody else, because that's what we do. You say, oh, you did this. No, I didn't. It was so-and-so over there. It was so-and-so's fault. Well, when so-and-so is sitting in that room, it's kind of harder for the addict to wiggle out, isn't it? It's supposed to break through the addict's denial. The addict often doesn't know what they're doing. It's not that they're stupid. They're actually usually very clever people, but they're literally in denial. It's a form of complete insanity. And this needs to be broken through before the addict can actually get help. And an intervention can do that. It's also a place where you can lay down boundaries for future, lay down firm boundaries. And this is really important. And it's important to be sure about these boundaries and talk about them with a counselor and be prepared to carry them out. This is vital, because the pattern of the addict is to break every boundary possible over and over and over again. And they'll say, like, I'm sorry, I won't drive drunk again. And they promise, and they do. And a loved one would have said, if you drive drunk again, I'm going to phone the police, or I'm going to take the car away, or you can't use the car again. And then the addict drives drunk. And they apologize, and then they go there, do it again, and again, and again. But the family lets them do it again. They don't stick to their boundaries. And this is what I'm talking about with the consequences of the addiction. The addict must feel that. They must know it. They must know that this is the end of the road. If you don't stick to whatever the ultimatum is in the intervention, you're in big trouble. You're on your own. The intervention must be a kind of a sink or swim thing. If you don't get clean, you will be on the street. If you don't get clean, we will phone social services. We will get your child taken away. It must be firm. It must be brutal. And the reason why you should have a professional help you with this is because, like I said, the addict's way of getting out of things and not taking responsibility is to pin the blame anywhere and everywhere they can. And also to become threatening, to become angry. So if the addict is going to blame everybody, an intervention is a great place for the addict to go and do that. Also, that the counsellor can prepare the family for what may happen. And what may happen is the addict may use this as an opportunity to use more and go more off the rails. But that's also a good thing, in a way, because this means that the addict could reach their rock bottom. They could leave the intervention, go out, use more, be on the street. It's horrible. But maybe that will give them the wake-up call that they need. So everything happens for a reason. And then after the intervention, it's important to stick to your boundaries forever. Let the addict know that this is the end of the line. This is what's going to happen if you use. So that might seem quite harsh, but I think everybody's heard about tough love, and it's important to stick with that. Yeah, so anyway, if you go to my website, you'll see some reading material and stuff that you guys can get, which might help you a lot, help with the learning about addiction. And then for anybody that, if you've got a loved one that is an addict, you might feel that there is absolutely no hope. Well, I'm 7 years clean. I was the one that had no hope. In the treatment facility I was in, I was the one that the counsellors picked that has the least chance of making it. And I did it. So there is always hope. Don't give up hope. So thank you, and I hope to share again with you guys very, very soon. Don't forget to like this if you enjoyed this video, and share it with people that maybe need to hear what I've got to say. And please visit my website and let me know what you think. Thank you very much.